Up with KREM begins now.
Well, right now, experts worry that the surge in Delta variant COVID cases could change how schools operate this fall.
What we are hearing from every country that's dealt with this is schools now do contribute to the community spread.
This morning, what experts think schools need to do to keep kids in the classroom. And there are still 15 wildfires burning across the inland Northwest. So this morning, what you need to know about how the state is handling more than 450,000 acres burning right now.
And it's a hazy start to this Monday morning across the area, but now the threat looms for dry lightning and new wildfires this week.
We are starting off the 6 o'clock hour with some breaking news this morning. A U.S. gymnast has tested positive for COVID-19. She tested positive while training in a Japanese city before heading to Tokyo. Now, this is video of the entire team arriving in Japan last week. At the moment, the name of the athlete, who is in her teens, has been withheld by the city. Another gymnast was isolating in her hotel room after health authorities determined that they had been in close contact. To date, there have been 12 positive tests connected with the games. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Dana Marie McNichol. Now, the Olympics are just 4 days away, and we're going to be covering all of the latest news out of Tokyo and also sitting down with multiple athletes from our area that are competing. Well, there is a small crew with us this morning. One of our producers actually got married over the weekend, so it's just Thomas and I holding down the fort. Thomas, you did mention some hazy skies. I smelled the smoke spending my weekend over in Coeur d'Alene. Is that going to clear out? What's it going to look like for us as we move into the week? Yeah,
today I do think is going to be quite hazy. I can actually confirm that, Dana Marie, is that it smells a little bit smoky. You have to be kind of like looking for it. But as you look out towards the horizon, as I see in every direction from our outdoor weather center, quite hazy. The sun not shining through that low-lying haze at the moment. But if you look straight up, we have blue skies. So it will be plenty sunny today. It's just going to be very hazy to come along with that. What about the graphic behind me? This is our red flag warnings. This is our next big weather story. The potential for dry thunderstorms and the lightning strikes that come with it has prompted red flag warnings and then increased fire danger for tomorrow morning and again on Wednesday morning. So that does last all the way through noon on Wednesday. These storms are coming in from the south, a bit of monsoon moisture trying to work its way northward. Not much of the moisture is going to make it, but the energy will, which gives us the potential for thunderstorms, but without much of the rain that comes with it. Look at these hazy skies over Coeur d'Alene as of right now. Temperatures bottoming out in about the mid-60s at this moment, but we're going to climb into the mid-90s for this afternoon. So it will be plenty sunny. It's just quite hazy for today, and then we're tracking that thunderstorm threat for the next 2 days. I'll show you an hour-by-hour look of when to expect those thunderstorms, when you could hear that thunder in our region. Coming up, my full forecast in a few minutes.
Well, there are still multiple fires burning across the Pacific Northwest right now, so here's what you need to know this morning. 15 of those large fires are burning more than 450,000 acres across the Pacific Northwest. More than 6,000 firefighters have been deployed across our region, and now the Northwest states have been moved to a preparedness level of 5. That's the highest level possible, and we're just 2 weeks into July. Level 3 evacuations are still in place for the Cub Creek fire burning in Okanogan County near Winthrop. That's burning over 4,000 acres. We have no word yet on the fire's containment. A Red Cross shelter has been set up at the Metho Valley Elementary School. The Goddard fire burning in Stevens County has grown now to over 300 acres. Crews have that fire 10% contained. All level 3 evacuations have been lowered to level 3. Today, crews are working to finalize a line around that fire. And the Red Apple fire burning in Chelan County now pushing 12,000 acres. We do have good news though this morning. Crews have it almost 80% contained. All evacuations have been lowered to a level 2 or 3. And Friday, investigators determined that that fire was human caused, but it's still unknown on how that fire started. And then to one of the biggest fires burning in the inland Northwest right now in west central Idaho. That's the Snake River Complex fire pushing 104,000 acres. Crews have been able to get a better handle on containment, and it's now 44% contained. Evacuations are still in place for nearby communities. Right now, COVID cases are struggling across the country. Health experts say this dangerous surge was avoidable with new cases fueled by people who are unvaccinated. A new CBS News poll found that most Americans do think that the fight against the pandemic is going somewhat well. New cases have spiked almost 70% in the U.S. over the past week, with 8 states plagued with rapidly rising infections. Nationwide, the rate of vaccinations have dropped about 35%.
Most people will either get vaccinated or have been previously infected, or they will get this Delta variant. And for most people who get this Delta variant, it's going to be the most serious virus that they get in their lifetime.
Los Angeles is the first county in the nation to require masks again. This does come just 1 month after California dropped restrictions, claiming the state's COVID recovery was on track, but it now sees a speed bump. Here in the Inland Northwest, experts are discussing the impact of rising cases on the upcoming school year. Brandon T. Jones joins us live from the newsroom. Brandon, what do you think experts are going to say as we see more future restrictions?
Well, good morning, Dana Marie. We've seen a lot more of this Delta variant spread across the country, like you said, and Idaho experts believe schools could see challenges with COVID outbreaks among younger and unvaccinated students this fall, especially with reduced protocols. This is Dr. David Pate. He's the retired CEO of St. Luke's Health System and an Idaho medical expert. He thinks the rest of the summer could impact the upcoming school year, especially in elementary and middle school, because those students are 12 and under and not eligible for the vaccine, and because data coming out of summer camps.
What I thought is, if we had smooth sailing with summer camps, then yeah, maybe we're going to be okay. But if we had a rough go with summer camps, I'm concerned. And we're having a rough go with summer camps.
The introduction of the more contagious Delta variant is also a concern for Pate. Recently, he studied how other countries are faring with schools and COVID as of late. He says there are major differences between now and a year ago because of the Delta variant.
Last year, we really, even with the infections we saw in school, it didn't really spill out into the community to any notable extent and didn't contribute to community spread. What we are hearing from every country that's dealt with this is schools now do contribute to the community spread. And I think that's what's going to happen here. That's what I fear is going to happen.
Pate questions why students who are not eligible for a vaccine yet are still being told to mask up. He says they were big help last year in preventing students from bringing the virus home. He also says he hopes students are given the chance to get vaccinated before restrictions are reinstated, but we really just have to wait and see what happens. From the newsroom, I'm Brandon T. Jones.
All right, thank you, Brandon. 6:06 now. It's time for your morning rush. More news in less time. Restaurants are the only ones understaffed at the moment. The city of Spokane is also dealing with an increase in job vacancies. There are roughly 183 open positions in the city right now. Apparently that's only slightly higher than normal, but officials are still concerned. The hiring process, in an effort to be as fair as possible, can take up to 9 months for one job. Now the city will choose to focus on positions they can fill faster. In eastern Washington alone, 2.7 million acres of forest are now considered unhealthy. That number also includes forests that are infested with bugs and fungi. In 2015, a survey of the state's tree stock found 338,000 acres of sick and dying trees. By 2019, that had nearly doubled to 658,000. And as one infestation completes its natural cycle, another one starts up.
So to get to new areas, these will blow on the wind, and sometimes you'll get them to come to ridge tops, and you can start a new outbreak.
Officials fear that this process will be made worse as climate change weakens the ability of trees to withstand insect attacks. They are also concerned about attacks from wildfires, as many dead trees can become fuel for a fire to grab onto and grow. Walgreens is recalling 54,000 Disney Winnie the Pooh rattle sets for potential choking hazards. So the company says they received 8 reports of the feet on the Winnie the Pooh rattle detaching. So thankfully no injuries have been reported, but take a look at your screen. This is what the set looks like. Walgreens says customers should take this set away from young children immediately. You can see the number on your screen. And it may seem like historic heat in the Inland Northwest has seen this summer would be harmful to growers, but for Beck's Harvest House in Green Bluff, it has been anything but bad. The yield is so good that Beck is saying it's a bumper crop. That's an agricultural term for a crop seeing an unusually high harvest.
We have a ton of cherries out on the trees right now. We've had, during bloom set, we probably had one of the best sets we've ever had, which means that just about every blossom set into a cherry this year.
Well, Beck says the high yield has led cherries growing on the tree close to the ground. He told KREM that this makes it great for kids to be able to pick because this year they could actually reach the fruit. How fun is that? Good to know. Fun summer activity. That's your Morning Rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag KREM on social media. And we're about halfway through summer, and that means we're about halfway through summer camps.
It's very important for the community to see that the kids are able to get out and have fun, and it's double important to me to be able to give back to these kids.
After the break, we're checking out a basketball camp in Spokane's East Side neighborhood. And athletes are arriving in Tokyo getting ready for the games to start on Friday. After the break, I got a chance to talk to a local athlete competing in the next couple of weeks.
And conditions will still be plenty hot and hazy this afternoon, but I'm tracking some dry thunderstorms that may be in the region on Tuesday and Wednesday. An hour-by-hour breakdown of your forecast is coming up next.